Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Bubolz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. Let's dig into today's subject, which is leader styles and who's going to get the 5-star rating of effectiveness. Now, certainly everyone has different opinions of this, and my opinion's coming from an HR perspective. It's coming from a team member with different bosses over 2 decades. It's coming from a burnout guide approach on how we're going to get our teams back to energy. How are we going to connect them back to the company, the mission, and the passion that used to be. If you have not already, let's connect over on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, out on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to that podcast or watch this edited video over on YouTube under Think Different playlist. So let's dig into the 3 leadership styles. It's interesting when we get to the 5 stars, what you will see happen. So the 3 leader styles that come up is process, product, and people. Now, what process is how things operationally flow from one department to the next. How from when something starts to when it finishes or ships, how that happens. How systems are integrated, how information flows, how data is gathered. This is all in process. This is the workflow within your operation and how you're going to standardize it. How are you going to document it? How are you going to make sure that it becomes more efficient? The leadership skill set that's used in process is a little different than the other 2. The skill set you're going to want to need for a process leader is analytics and attention to detail. You're going to want someone that wants to dig into the gaps and why they're happening and try to fix them. You're going to want someone who's more of that project management scope so that when they're complete, they can move on to the next thing. You want them to have an approach of using data to make their decisions, using data to gather their movement throughout their week, using data to guide a team and the outcomes that you want. And through data, you're going to get documentation, process flow, and that cross-department collaboration because, again, operationally, it will flow between all different departments. Now, the second leadership style is product. And product is what you're delivering. It could be a service, it could be a software, it could be an actual tangible item, like a mic, how that product is going to be delivered. And this is more of innovation in the market. What is the customer demands, quality of the product, how is it being shipped out and received, what is the branding in the market of this product. And this type of leadership style is going to be more technical. So this is going to be really digging into the materials used, what's happening during shipping, what's happening from beginning to end, that maybe there might be a disconnect there. Again, making sure that product is, we say what we do what we say, very ISO standard of quality. So it's going to be focused on product quality and the technical side. Coming from manufacturing, this is a majority of leaders is on the product sector. They're very good at materials. They're very good at machinery. They're very good at that type of flow and design. The approach of product leadership styles is looking at the customers and what the demand is and where we are or are not meeting it on quality, on expectations. It might be product life cycle. So when was this product at the best and how long can we stay there? What can we do to modify things so that we can stay in that sweet spot of the product cycle? This might even be the management and market changes and adapting to that. So you've seen technology, for example, like this mic. It's adapted over the years to what people need. It used to be just for high professional speaking, musicians, things like that. And now there's podcasters and there's all different software that the mics have to adapt to. So again, the product side is evolving from external controls as well. Process is more internal with external variables in play. Now, people, when we think leaders, we think they're people leaders. And just coming from an HR perspective, coming from a burnout guide where people dislike their boss doesn't understand, coming from all the dysfunction that I see when I go speak about burnout, most of these leaders that I meet should not be people leaders. They are very technical and very good at their job. They're very process oriented, and they're thinking of innovative, visionary ways to integrate different softwares within their operation and clean up the gaps. But they avoid conflict. They avoid the hard conversations. They avoid feedback. That's all people things. So the people leadership style is going to be focused on engagement and motivating their team. They're going to get them aligned around functions that they're supposed to be doing. They're going to be enhancing communication and collaboration. They're going to be fostering these relationships to make their team thrive. They're focused on team energy. And the approaches to this are way separate than product and process. When I look at leadership styles, process and product can be interchangeable depending on someone's technical and education skill sets. People is a certain leader. You had to have enough compassion and patience and tools learned over the years to attack problem people, to do conflict resolution, to do performance management effectively, to coach and guide people to where they need to go. And you can already see where this is going, where my star ratings are going to lie, because the traditional approach of this is people, product, and process. That's what a leader needs to own. And at any point in time, one can dominate the other. At any point in time, that leadership style does not fit what the need is. At any point in time, we're causing leadership low. We're burning our leaders out. We're burning their passion out because it's misaligned. It's not a right seat for that person. And over time, an organization can even grow out of this. So say you start with people and you have 5, 10 people on your team and you're a really good leader. But now the company's growing. Now you have 25 people and half of them are remote. Has the seat outgrown you? Do you still jive with that, even if they're not the best performers? And when I work with emerging leaders, I always tell them it will really test your leadership style, not on the good days. It's going to test you when you get that person playing the system, you get that person that's kind of creating that team energy poison, gossiping, causing that dysfunction. That conflict is going to be your true test of leadership. How do you handle that conflict? And that's what we want to prep our leaders for. So, are you ready for the star ratings? So based on my perspective from HR, based on being in different teams, based on being with all different clients in all different industries as a burnout guide, and now working with the workforce on this workforce energy management, here is my integration star rating. So the first rating I want to give is to the holistic approach. So that means between process, product, and people, there's enough understanding between those 3 functional styles that you can be a good leader. That means you understand that process improvements will affect higher quality products, and that will enhance productivity for your people because, of course, you want to be part of a team that's producing a high quality product that's not dysfunctional, that doesn't have as many hangups. So all 3 are solely integrated with the 2. That's the holistic approach to a leader. Now, the star rating I'm going to give that is a 3 out of 5. And the reason why is even though there's an understanding between the 3 and it might have some good flow because of that understanding, if any point in time one of those are dysfunctional, it takes root of everything else. So if you have a problem person, now product and process might sit on the back burner, and that might be priority. Or vice versa. You might be integrating systems right now and you haven't had one-on-ones in weeks. People dysfunction will happen. So the effectiveness rating of this, it really depends on the flow and how many people you have. But as this world changes faster and faster, you're going to have to recognize that the effectiveness rating of a holistic approach is having a good understanding between process, product, and people. It's going to get more demanding because technology is advancing, software's advancing, integration in departments is advancing, turnover, the labor market and people are getting more complex. So keep that in mind, that this holistic approach, even though I gave it a 3 out of 5 rating, I do project it to have a lower rating in the future as this world continues to change. Now, the second leadership integration that I have recognized is the balanced one. So that is your traditional approach. That's what most of you who are watching this have in your companies. And that's, I am a leader and I own the process that my team uses. I own the product that my team serves, and I own the people within my team, which means I lead them, I lead the processes, I lead the integration of software, I lead the integration between the different departments as it crosses over. I lead the quality of the product we're delivering in whatever scope that is. That could be just the data you're providing internally to other departments. That might be the actual product that you're shipping or serving. So that's the traditional approach. You can already know where I'm going with this. That is a 1 out of 5. You cannot be 3 people at once. You are recruiting for 3 different type of people and skill sets. As a leader gets more overwhelmed and more on their plate, they're going to choose their comfort zone because their body's going into survivorship mode. It's starting to get distressed with other people. So going in that survivorship mode, they're going to go into their safe and comfortable area, which will most likely be process or product, because people are complex. People will challenge them, and that distress is rising as you get in survivorship mode, as you get more stressed. And so the last thing you want to do is deal with people. So as natural human beings, even someone who loves leadership and loves human beings and human behavior, on my tough days, I would rather do process and product than deal with people. It's just human nature. So when we're stressed, that's what we're gravitate to as well. So the effectiveness of this balanced approach, the traditional approach of leaders owning process, product, and people, 1 out of 5. At one point in time, one's going to dominate, 2 aren't getting done, and the leader is stressed and hitting this leader low. So the last one I wanted to shine light on, and definitely is going to be our big hitter here, our home run hitter, is the collaborative. And what that is across process and product and people, there's a leader for each, and they have a cohesive strategy aligned with each other, same messaging as each other, that is being executed in each department. So that means you have a leader that is leading people, and you have a reference and resource point for product. You have a reference and resource point for process, and the team will follow that. Now, you can correct behavior and performance to adhere to the product and process strategy. But at any point in time, if you have a problem person, process isn't affected. If you have a problem person, product isn't affected. Certainly, that person could be causing low productivity, low quality. That person could be not following the process, which you get corrected on. But guess what? Because you have a people leader, they can get on it in real time. They can get on it right away while the process and product is being figured out by another leader. So where I'm seeing progressive companies go with this ever-changing fast world is there's a leader for process, there's a leader for product, there's a leader for people. And the effectiveness of that is 5 out of 5 stars. So if you think of where money flows in your company, if you think of dysfunction and productivity costs, the cost of turnover, which is on average 30% of a professional salary, I think you can afford to have a leader in process. I think you can afford to have a leader in product. I think you can afford to have a leader in people. And it might not be the big salary because they're not doing all 3, but guess what? They're going to enjoy their job. And they're going to have a workload that's manageable. And people are going to be able to follow because these experts in people behavior, these experts in product, these experts in process are leading them, and they're all in, versus being distracted by someone who's not performing, by being distracted because something didn't ship. So 5 out of 5 star rating on the collaborative approach, which means you have a leader for process, you have a leader for product, you have a leader for people. Now, something that happens naturally when these 3 leadership positions open up, which could just be a lead, which means they might not make big company decisions, but they're leading the process, they're leading the main product line of your company, is that there's more opportunities for people to step into that. Because there are some people in your organization that are super skilled, but they're not your people leaders. They don't want to deal with performance management and poor performance and conflict, but they love the product that you give or serve. They love integration of systems, how data flows, how you can become more efficient. They love the advancements in technology within the process flow. They love standardization type of work and creating those efficiencies across the organization. You're missing out on those leaders. You're missing out on those people that are going to not only thrive, commit, and be loyal to your company because they're going to be all in with their energy, but also you're missing those new ideas. Because if I'm leading a team of people, I don't have a lot of capacity to think creative in product and process. Or if I want to be distracted away from people because some of my team members are being a little more challenging than usual, and I hide my sand in product and process, I'm not being super creative in how I'm going to coach my people. So giving this space and giving 3 options instead of 1 is going to enhance the energy not only in your teams, but it create productivity within your company. If you haven't already, I hope that we connect on one of the platforms as I continue to cross-stream across multiple channels during these sessions and then send the edited recording out to the YouTube channel. But in order to find energy back in our workforce, in order to actually provide burnout prevention, we have to address root causes. We have to address where these traditional approaches no longer fit the modern workforce. And in order to do that, we have to think different.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focus on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.